guys, this is Matt Brunet, and welcome to Movie News Weekly, hosted by FilmBook. Now, before we begin, let's take a look at what we got in this week's news, which includes Caesar's Time to Shine, Barry Will Make the Streets Talk, Last Week Tonight with Zazu, Where's Aladdin, Quentin Meets Crazy Charlie, My, how could she resist a check, Scarface lost its director, again, Batman changing scripts, D23's animation announcements, and their live-action announcements. So with that said, let's get things started. Move over, Parker, it's Caesar's turn to be the big movie star. War of the Planet of the Apes was the new big movie this week, and it immediately headed to first place at the box office. However, with its $56 million opening, it ended up on the same levels of the first installment of the rebooted franchise than with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which opened with $72.6 million. Following afterwards is Spider-Man Homecoming, which made a big slip down to more than 60% from last week and ended up with about $45 million. Meanwhile, Despicable Me 3 is still moving forward, but now only down to third place with about $19 million. As for the other new movie this week, Wish Upon, it scared off more people from seeing the movie than people who actually saw it, starting low in 7th place with about $5.5 million, behind films like Baby Driver with almost $9 million, The Big Sick going from 8th to 5th with more than $7.5 million, and Wonder Woman with less than $7 million. Oscars couldn't be the only big surprise about him. Barry Jenkins, the director of this year's Best Picture winner Moonlight, has signed on with Annapurna Pictures in order to helm If Beale Street Could Talk, based on the novel by James Baldwin. The story is about a Harlem woman named Tish who has to prove that her newlywed husband was innocent while taking care of her newborn baby. Gloria Carifa-Smart, the sister of Baldwin, stated, "We are delighted to entrust Barry Jenkins with this adaptation. Barry is a sublimely conscious and gifted filmmaker, whose medicine for melancholy impressed us so greatly that we had to work with him." Jenkins also commented, "James Baldwin is a man and ahead of his time. His interrogations of American consciousness has remained relevant to this day. To translate the power of Tish and Fonny's love to the screen in Baldwin's image is a dream I've long held dear. Working alongside the Baldwin estate, I'm excited to finally make that dream come true." Thus far, a rather uninspiring thing. Disney officially brought in Last Week Tonight host John Oliver to voice the role of Zazu in their live-action remake of The Lion King, directed by Jon Favreau. Oliver will be joining the cast that includes Donald Glover as Simba, Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen as Timon and Pumbaa respectively, and James Earl Jones reprising his role as Mufasa. In the original 1994 animated masterpiece, Zazu was given the voice of Rowan Atkinson as the uptight advisor to Mufasa. This will not be the first time that Oliver will provide his voice for a feature film. He has already done the voice for Vanity Smurf in Sony's live-action animated hybrid of the Smurfs, and will be among the cast of Paramount's 2018 animated film Amusement Park. The Lion King will be coming back in theaters on July 2019. In other Disney live-action remake news, the company is having a hard time trying to find someone to play as Aladdin and Jasmine for their live-action remake of Aladdin. Disney, director Guy Ritchie, and casting director Randy Hiller have spent months trying to find a man and a woman who is either Middle Eastern or Indian in their 20s who can both act and sing. But after auditioning over 2,000 people from around the world, they couldn't find the right duo for the job. They have either considered bringing in recognizable names for their roles like Dev Patel or Riz Ahmed for Aladdin, and Tara Sutaria and Naomi Scott from the Power Rangers to be as Jasmine. The only person that is currently in talks to be among the cast is Will Smith as the genie. Disney has scheduled for the production to start in August, but with this situation, there could be a possibility that the company could delay it. And yes, by the way, before you say anything, yes, I know about what's happened, like the announcement that was said at D23, I'll get to that a little later. You need a crazy guy to make a movie about crazy people. Quentin Tarantino is already in the works with the Weinstein brothers in order to direct a movie based upon the Manson family murders. While details are still a bit under wraps, there are some speculations going around that the movie could be focusing on Sharon Tate, the late actress who was married to Roman Polanski and was murdered by Charles Manson. Also, Tarantino is in talks with A-list celebrities to be among the cast, and there could be a chance that Brad Pitt could reunite with him after Inglourious Basterds, and Jennifer Lawrence could come in as well. If the details revealed to be true, this could mark as Tarantino's first movie that's purely based on true events without altering the moments in history. If that's what the director is aiming for in the first place. Currently, he is putting the finishing touches on the script and could have a high chance to start filming in the summer of 2018. Yes, she can dance, she can jump high, and having the time of her life. Lily James will be joining the cast of the sequel to the feature that's based on the hit Broadway musical, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. She will appear in the film with Meryl Streep, Colin Firth, Amanda Seyfried, and more to play as a younger version of Donna, where the movie will be looking back and forth in the characters' relationships with others both in the past and in the present. Not only are many people in the cast in the first film are coming back, but also Ol Parker is returning to both direct and write the feature, and the musical's creator, Julie Kramer, will produce along with Gary Goetzman. Recently, Lily James managed to always find herself in many big-name features after appearing in the hit series Downton Abbey, which includes being the star of Disney's live-action remake of Cinderella, Edgar Wright's Baby Driver, and will be in the Winston Churchill biopic The Darkest Hour, which is coming out this fall. Oh no, not again! Universal Studios has decided to part ways with director David Ayer for the remake of Scarface. The reason why Ayer made his departure is due to creative differences when the script was considered too dark for the studio's taste. This is not the first time that a director had to leave the project. Anthony Fuqua was originally set to helm, but due to scheduling conflicts, he had to leave to work on Equalizer 2. There were a couple of other directors that were considering it at one point, like Hell or High Water's David Mackenzie and Patriots Day Peter Berg. The remake of the 1983 film starring Al Pacino, which in itself is a remake to the 1932 film, is a modern take of the gangster story that's set in Los Angeles. Other than the producers, Diego Luna from Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, is still attached to the movie as the star. Well, it's not like it would make the movie better or anything, so might as well do a full redo. In an interview with MTV's Happy Sad Confused podcast, director Matt Reeves confirms that he has thrown out the original script of The Batman and is currently working on a new one. Reeves stated, "It's a new story. It's just starting again. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really cool." The original script was written by Ben Affleck, who is starring as the Caped Crusader, and Geoff Johns. It was reported after Affleck stepped down as director, Chris Terrio came in to do some rewrites based on the original plans the two had for the movie. In that script, Deathstroke the Terminator was supposed to be the main villain and was supposed to be played by Joe Manganiello. However, there is no confirmation if Reeves is still having Deathstroke in his version of the movie. To all who come to this happy convention, welcome. The D23 Expo kicked off this weekend and started off by presenting their animation panel hosted by the Chief Creative Officer of their animation division, John Lasseter. The highlights of the panel include the announcement of a new spin-off film of Cars called Space, a new clip of Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2 that features a new character called Yes, voiced by Taraji P. Henson, and features plenty of cameos, including all the Disney princesses with their respective voice actresses from Ariel to Moana. Also, Brad Bird came into the stage and revealed that The Incredibles 2 will have the original cast back and the plot will revolve around Elastigirl and Jack Jack. With Toy Story 4, Lasseter revealed he will not be directing the feature and it will mark as the directorial debut of Inside Out screenwriter Josh Cooley. John also revealed a new animated film at Pixar that will be set in a suburban fantasy world where magic still exists in everyday life, which will be made by the Monsters University crew, including director Dan Scanlon. Finally, the panel ended off with a couple of clips from Coco and playing a new song for the feature called Remember Me by Robert and Kristen Anderson Lopez. And now let's jump right into their live action stuff. The day after Disney's animation panel at this year's D23 Expo, Walt Disney Studios stepped in to present their upcoming lineup of live action films. The previews began as Ava DuVernay and the cast came in to talk about A Wrinkle in Time, coming March 2018, and presented the first trailer for the film. They then presented some exclusive clips to fans of the convention, including the Circle of Life scene from Jon Favreau's live-action remake of The Lion King, and a trailer for Mary Poppins Returns, which confirmed that Dick Van Dyke will return for the feature. Disney also put in some new release dates for their lineup, like Tim Burton's Dumbo will be out for March 29, 2019, and The Nutcracker and the Four Realms will replace the live-action remake of Mulan to be out on November 2nd, 2018. Disney then confirmed that production has started on films like Mulan, The Jungle Cruise, and Aladdin, which officially casted the roles of Aladdin, Jasmine, and the Genie. As for their other big franchises, Star Wars and Marvel, they surprisingly kept a lot of their secrets for themselves and gave audiences a preview of what's to come for Star Wars The Last Jedi and Avengers Infinity War. And that's all I've got for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to head on down to film-book.com for all the latest movie and TV news, along with their columns on the box office and their theatrical release schedule. Also, you can follow them on whatever social media you'd like. And while you're at it, you can follow me on my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter if you're more into stuff like animation, Disney, and my weird sense of humor. If you were watching this on YouTube, then hit that like button and come subscribe to us, and also leave a little comment on what you think on the news this week. If you were listening to this on a podcast on iTunes or any other podcast service, then don't forget to rate and review what you just heard. Tune in next time for another round of Movie News Weekly, and until next week, see you later, dudes!